In 2017, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was released. It was a free mobile game in which you had to build your campsite while fulfilling requests for villagers from the Animal Crossing series. But after 7 years of updates, it was announced that Pocket Camp would come to an end. The servers would shut down and the game would become unplayable. That is, unless you buy the new Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete. Set to release a few days after the other game ended, Pocket Camp Complete is a paid version of Pocket Camp. It features some minor gameplay changes, but notably doesn't have any microtransactions. And as someone who's been quite critical of Pocket Camp's overwhelming monetization, I was curious to see how they'd handle these changes. And more importantly, if they're really worth the $20 price tag. So to answer these questions, I decided to buy Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete. Before we get into all the changes, I think it's important that we talk about the original Pocket Camp. The game was fairly simple. You had a campsite that you could invite animals to by fulfilling their requests and building furniture for them. Those requests consisted of fruits, insects, fish, or other things you could collect in the different areas you had access to. There were also seasonal events, themed fortune cookies that gave you furniture or clothing, a large catalog of items, and it was overall a very cutesy, cozy game in the iconic New Leaf style. But Animal Crossing Pocket Camp had one fatal flaw: leaf tickets. Leaf tickets were a currency that did basically everything, and that's not even an exaggeration. You could use them to buy fortune cookies, to buy limited items, to speed up craft times, and so much more. It was impossible to play without encountering some kind of leaf ticket prompt, even for the smallest of things like fishing nets or breaking rocks. Even the game's UI was cluttered with promotions for leaf tickets or the game's memberships that also locked many quality-of-life features behind a paywall. Free-to-play players only had a couple leaf tickets from when they leveled up or finished certain missions. If they wanted any substantial amount of them though, they'd have to pay real money. Despite the gameplay itself being enjoyable, the aggressive monetization really soured the experience for those who just wanted to play casually without having to pay. And that's actually why I stopped playing Pocket Camp. After 7 years of content, Nintendo pulled the plug on Animal Crossing Pocket Camp and replaced it with the Complete Edition. Pocket Camp Complete's gameplay is the same, but it features a few interesting changes. First of all, there's the addition of the Whistle Pass. This is a new part of the map in which you can see all your friends and attend daily KK Slider concerts at 7 p.m. Speaking of friends, you can now exchange and collect customizable camper cards with other people, but that's it when it comes to interacting with others. In the original Pocket Camp, your friends showed up all over the map, you could sell and buy things from other people, you could help in each other's gardens, and you could also exchange gifts that contained various items. Now, friends only appear at the Whistle Pass. They can give you some items, but those are randomized and they don't actually choose to give them to you. Whether you care about this change or not really depends on your personal tastes, but I was pretty sad to see that they removed all interactions with other people. Having friends that you can interact with from time to time makes things more lively and engaging, and I personally think it was a mistake to remove them, even if it was to make the game available offline. For events and seasonal items, Nintendo said that there will be some new content until September 2025. After that, I'm assuming it'll be a yearly rotation like we see in other Animal Crossing games. But the biggest changes, and the ones I was most curious about, are the ones that have to do with microtransactions. Now that the game isn't free, leaf tickets and membership plans have been removed and replaced with free alternatives. Leaf tickets have now been replaced with leaf tokens, a free currency that serves the same purpose. The difference is that they're much easier to obtain, especially for players who are already pretty far into the game. I've also noticed that limited items are cheaper. Things that used to cost hundreds of leaf tickets now only cost a couple leaf tokens. This, coupled with the fact that leaf tickets are easy to obtain, make it so that items are much easier to get than before. There's also the Complete Item Catalog, which is basically a catalog of every past limited collection. To buy these items, you can use Complete complete tickets, but to be honest, they're quite expensive. The items from the complete item catalog usually come back though, so I don't mind it as much here, but I think that adding yet another currency was really unnecessary. Another addition that I was quite surprised to see is that some of the perks from the memberships are just in the base game, for free. You have access to companions, to customized planners, the premium catalog, and most of the things those memberships offered. Frankly, I didn't have high expectations with how they'd handle getting rid of microtransactions because of how shameless and in-your-face they were when the game was free, but I was pleasantly surprised with how good these changes are. Though I'm usually against adding new currencies for no reason, I think that it's handled well here because the items that cost leaf tokens are cheaper and the tokens themselves are quite easy to get. Now, could they have just replaced them with bells? Yeah, but I'm not mad about this. Overall, these changes really add to the quality of life, and the game in general now feels much better to play when there's no more pop-ups asking you to get out your credit card. Now that we've gone over all the changes, let's determine if Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete is really worth the money. So this game has two different prices, an introductory price that's only available for a certain period, and the real price after that period ends. The introductory price for Pocket Camp Complete is about $10 until January 31st, 2025. After that, it'll be $20. To determine if the game is worth that price, we need to remember that the free version no longer exists. This is the only way to play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So, let's go over the pros and cons. There's the fun gameplay coupled with frequent events that always give you something to come back to. It's great when you have a few minutes to spare, but this is not the kind of game you could play for a long time in one sitting. You couldn't play for 2 hours straight without getting bored because it can get quite repetitive. There's also a massive catalog of items with a ton of beautiful pieces. And even though those are much cheaper and more accessible now, you still have to work for them. I personally don't mind that, but I can see it being annoying for some more casual players. The quality of life additions and the removal of leaf tickets have made a massive impact on the overall experience though. I know I've complained a lot about leaf tickets already, and that's because I have 7 years of pent-up hatred towards them, but it feels so much better to play when the game is not constantly shilling its currency from hell. Pocket Camp now feels much more polished and like a real Animal Crossing game. But overall, if Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete is worth the money or not is still up to how you feel about the gameplay. I bought Pocket Camp Complete for the introductory price of $10, and I chose to get it for a few different reasons. First of all, I am a sucker for that new leaf art style. It has all the classics along with a huge catalog of furniture and clothing for every style. I'm also not the kind of person that carries around their Switch wherever they go, so having a mobile game makes it much easier to hop on from time to time whenever I have a few minutes. But what convinced me is that I already knew I liked the gameplay. I was on level 55 in the free version, so I knew I'd enjoy the complete edition just as much, if not more. While I was disappointed by how you can't interact with friends anymore, all the other changes have been great. To me, $10 is a good price for what you get. If you like the Animal Crossing series, I think Pocket Camp Complete is worth the introductory price of $10. There's always an event going on, it has 7 years worth of items you can collect, and it has all the charm and coziness of an Animal Crossing game. However, I will say that $20 is harder to justify for a game that was originally free. Even if it's a high-quality game, $20 is a hard sell for any mobile game. It's hard to bring in new players with such a price tag when they might not know if they even enjoy the gameplay. And as I said earlier, this is not the kind of game you can play for hours and hours. It's made to be played a couple minutes at a time, a few times a day. That's why I would be more hesitant if the game costs $20. If you're really gonna play it every day and take the time to build up your campsite and befriend the animals, sure, it's a fun game, but it remains a mobile game that doesn't have the most complex gameplay of all time. If you're watching this before the 31st of January 2025, you can still get Pocket Camp Complete for $10, and I definitely recommend getting it before then if you're interested. It's a fun game, you won't regret it. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is a strange one for me. I've always felt that it was a really sad waste of potential because of how bad the monetization was. They fumbled the original version so hard that I honestly hesitated to get the paid one. But I'm really glad I still got it. These changes have made me want to play it way more than I used to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on Pocket Camp Complete, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!